Chapter 9. A Mysterious Visitor. The clawed footprints were unlike anything they'd seen before. Massive, deep grooves in the dirt cut a path into the dense, glowing underbrush of the alien forest. Each print was at least twice the size of Ichigo's current foot. No, Orihime's foot, and trailed off into the darkness, where the alien trees swayed unnaturally in the breeze. Ichigo held their makeshift spear tightly, his knuckles white. "Stay close," he said over his shoulder, his voice low and tense. Orihime, gripping her own crude weapon, a sharpened stick that Ichigo had insisted she carry, nodded. "Do you think it's dangerous?" "I don't know," Ichigo replied, his orange ponytail swishing as he turned his head sharply to scan the area. "But I'm not taking any chances." Orihime's new, deeper voice came out in a nervous whisper. "What if it's friendly?" Ichigo shot her a look. "Friendly? Did you see those claws? Whatever made those prints isn't inviting us over for tea." Orihime tilted her head, thinking. "Maybe it has big claws but a kind heart?" Ichigo groaned, rubbing his temple. "Orihime, this isn't some fairy tale. We're in a weird, dangerous dimension, and now there's a giant monster wandering around near our camp. Focus." Orihime pouted slightly, but stayed quiet. They moved cautiously, following the trail of prints deeper into the forest. The glowing plants around them pulsed faintly, casting eerie shadows. The air felt heavier, charged with an energy that made Ichigo's skin tingle. Suddenly, a faint hum filled the air, a low, vibrating sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Do you hear that?" Orihime asked, her voice barely audible. Ichigo nodded, his grip tightening on the spear. "Yeah. Stay behind me." Before they could take another step, the hum grew louder. The air shimmered, like heat rising off a summer road, and a figure began to materialize in front of them. The figure wasn't like anything they'd seen before. It was humanoid in shape, but its body seemed to be made of shifting, translucent energy. Swirls of light and shadow moved beneath its surface, and its eyes glowed, an otherworldly white. Orihime gasped, taking an involuntary step back. What is that?" Ichigo raised the spear, his muscles tense. "Stay back," he shouted at the figure. The creature tilted its head as if studying them. When it spoke, its voice was strange, echoing and layered as though it came from every direction at once. "You have been unmade to be remade," it said, its tone calm but unsettling. "Only when you embrace the truth of your bond will the door open." Ichigo scowled, stepping forward. "What the hell does that mean?" The creature didn't answer him directly. Instead, it turned its glowing gaze to Orihime. "Two souls, intertwined, yet still afraid," it said, its voice softer now. "Let go of fear, and you will find the way." Orihime blinked, clutching her stick tightly. "Are you saying our bond is the reason for all this? For the transformations?" The creature's faint smile was the only response. Ichigo, frustrated, took another step forward. "Stop talking in riddles and tell us how to fix this." The creature's glowing eyes shifted back to Ichigo. "Fix," it repeated, almost amused. "Change is inevitable, but not all change is loss." Orihime's heart sank. "Does that mean we can't go back to normal?" The creature didn't answer directly. Instead, it reached out a hand, and for a brief moment, Ichigo and Orihime felt a strange warmth spread through their bodies. It wasn't unpleasant, just weird. "What are you doing?" Ichigo demanded, stepping back. The creature lowered its hand its faint smile returning. You will see. In time. Before either of them could ask anything else, the creature's form began to fade, dissolving into the air like mist. The hum grew fainter, until it disappeared entirely, leaving Ichigo and Orihime alone in the eerie silence of the forest. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The weight of what they just experienced hung heavily in the air. Finally, Ichigo broke the silence. What the hell was that? Orihime shook her head, her brow furrowed. I don't know, but it seemed like it was trying to help us. Help us? Ichigo scoffed. Nani? It just spouted a bunch of cryptic nonsense, and then disappeared. How is that helpful? Orihime frowned, her hands clenching into fists. Maybe if you weren't so busy yelling at it, we could have gotten some real answers. Ichigo turned to face her, his expression incredulous. Oh, so this is my fault now. I didn't say that, Orihime shot back, her voice rising. But maybe if you listened instead of demanding things, we'd know more about what's going on. Ichigo's eyes narrowed. And what exactly did you learn, huh? That we're supposed to hold hands and sing kumbaya until everything magically fixes itself? Orihime's face flushed, her frustration bubbling over. What if it's right, Ichigo? What if this is who we are now? That stopped him. For a moment, he just stared at her, his jaw clenched. You really think that? He asked, his voice low. Orihime looked away, her shoulders slumping. I don't know, she admitted. Oh well. But maybe we should stop fighting it. Maybe the creature was trying to tell us that this isn't something we can fix, that we just have to adapt. Ichigo ran a hand through his hair, frustration etched across his features. Adapt? To this? He gestured to himself, then to her. You seriously think we're supposed to just accept that this is permanent? Orihime didn't answer, and the silence stretched between them. Finally, she sighed and turned away. I need some time to think, she said quietly, walking off into the trees. Ichigo watched her go, his fists clenching at his side. What if she's right? The thought crept into his mind, unbidden. He hated it. Hated the idea that this might be permanent. That he might be stuck in Orihime's body forever. But what bothered him even more was the idea that maybe it wouldn't be so bad. He shook his head violently, trying to push the thought away. No, we'll fix this, we have to. Still, Orihime's words lingered in his mind. Meanwhile, Orihime sat on a fallen log a short distance from their camp, staring up at the alien sky. She couldn't stop thinking about the creature's words, or the way Ichigo had reacted. Why are we so afraid? She wondered. As she sat there, lost in thought, the faint hum returned, just for a moment. She glanced around nervously, but nothing appeared. Whatever was going on, she knew one thing for certain. The answers they needed weren't going to come easily.